Hey guys, Dr. Joel here. We're talking about gallbladder health in this video. Now this video is meant to be something that just covers the basics with gallbladder health and bile health and all this good stuff. In the future, we're going to get into talking about how to save your gallbladder from having to be removed. We're going to talk about how to heal your gallbladder from gallstones and how you can actually break those down naturally. We'll talk about what causes that buildup in other videos and all of that good stuff. But this video here is primarily meant to be a video that just kind of covers the basics of gallbladder health and bile flow health. We're going to talk about basically the gallbladder from really ground zero, kind of talking about what it is, what it does, and then we'll get into what are the things that cause the most issues with gallbladder health and bile health, bile flow, and then we'll get into kind of generally how you would go about addressing these issues. So, guys, I hope if you're here trying to learn more about the gallbladder system, learning more about bile flow, this video will help you tremendously, I think. So, hope you enjoy. All right, let's get into it. So the gallbladder, a couple basics here that we need to remember. The gallbladder sits behind the liver. It's connected with the liver. And so the takeaway from this is that some gallbladder problems are actually liver problems and vice versa. Now, we'll go to the next point here. Your gallbladder stores and releases bile, but remember the bile is actually made in the liver. So when we talk about one of the most important things with the gallbladder, which is bile flow, it's really important to understand that it could be liver issues that are contributing to this gallbladder issue. And likewise, if you have poor bile flow, you could result in things kind of getting backed up in the liver due to poor detoxification and things like that. So you can have this, you have this basically very close-knit relationship between the liver and gallbladder. Yes, they have their own functions, yes, they have their own purposes, but in some ways they very much function together. So bile is made in the liver but released by the gallbladder. It breaks down and absorbs fats. So if you have poor bile flow, one of the things that you'll run into is you may not absorb and digest fats well, fatty foods, fried foods, that kind of thing. Now this also includes the vitamins, right? So bile helps absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K because these are all fat-soluble vitamins. If you don't have good fats in your nutrition and diet, and you also don't have good fat digestion and absorption, then you may become deficient in vitamins A, D, E, and or K. Now, one thing most people don't know or talk about is that bile actually has antimicrobial components to it. And basically what that means is when we talk about gut health, we talk about bacteria, we talk about fungus, we talk about parasites, we talk about all these different things. You have good bacteria, bad bacteria, and all that good stuff. With bile, one of the things that it does as it flows through your digestive tract is it helps to keep those things balanced. It helps prevent certain infections or certain bacteria from overgrowing, but it also kind of supports the overall good guys in the gut health and can act as almost a prebiotic in a way that allows the good healthy bacteria to continue to stay good, healthy, and diverse. So there's probably a lot more research that needs to be done here in this area of bile and bile flow, but a lot of times in practice, one of the things I'll see is people that have poor bile flow will later result in gut issues. They'll result in issues with parasite infections, they'll result in issues with fungal or bacterial issues, and that leads to bloating and gas and all this stuff. So helps to balance out the gut microbiome health. Poor bile flow might be part of the reason for gut issues. Gastroparesis is a big one. We'll make a video on that, but essentially gastroparesis is where your food is not moving through your digestive tract, and that's usually an issue with your gallbladder function and bile health. And that's something that your body can heal from and reverse. Bloating, gas, those are often very common gut issues that come from bacteria and or fungal buildup. But one of the things, again, that can create that environment to happen is poor bile flow. So if you have any kind of stress to your gallbladder system or poor bile flow, here are the signs and symptoms that you'll see. You'll have discomfort with eating fatty foods. You have constipation. Constipation is purely a gallbladder bile flow issue. There may be instances where there's something else going on with gut health or something else going on with your immune system. But 99% of the time, constipation is a poor bile flow issue. There's something going on with the gallbladder system, and there's something that's impacting it, and we'll talk about what that looks like from a functional perspective here in a second. Dry skin, if you can't absorb fats, then you're going to have dry skin. Dry skin can also be related more to thyroid issues like low thyroid, hypothyroidism, but most often it's due to not absorbing fats well, and that can contribute. Now, one of the things that should probably be added to this list is itchiness. If you have dry skin and itchiness, a lot of times that can go back to the gallbladder health and poor bile flow. Poor fat digestion, we talked about that a little bit. Nausea. Nausea often comes from your gallbladder because your food and nutrients are not moving through your digestive tract. So that can result in nausea and cause some different issues there. Deficiencies in vitamins D, A, E, or K, we talked about that, and then gallstones. Gallstones happen when the bile flow becomes so slow, these stones start to form and it starts to build up. And likewise, if we can smooth out the bile, which we'll talk about here in a second, you can actually reverse gallstones and actually allow your body to heal itself from that. All right, let's keep moving forward. What are the root causes of gallbladder issues? Guys, this is the 10,000 foot overview. This is the big picture. We're going to make different videos on different things, and some of these we already have, so I'd encourage you to check those out. But basically, the root causes of gallbladder issues go back to one of these things 99% of the time. I would even argue probably 100% of the time. High stress hormones is extremely common with gallbladder issues. If your cortisol is high, if your epinephrine or norepinephrine is high, you are going to have, or you potentially will have issues with these high stress hormones. High insulin. This one is extremely common. So many people have insulin resistance, and that insulin resistance results in stress on your gallbladder system and your bile flow. Now, one of the things that it's really important to know is that with gallbladder issues, we talked about some of the basics with gallbladder issues. With gallbladder issues, you can actually not have your gallbladder. You could actually have it taken out, and you can still have gallbladder issues. The reason why is because of bile flow. With you have poor bile flow, again, that's a combination of things to do with the liver and gallbladder system, but poor bile flow can still lead to issues with the gut health, with the skin, with fat digestion, with constipation, with a lot of these different issues. It's when that builds up into gallstones and when you have pain that many doctors are encouraging to take it out. When in reality, we should be looking at what's causing this poor bile flow and how we can actually improve bile flow so that your gallbladder system, your liver, your bile flow is functioning better so that you're absorbing nutrients, you're digesting these things, and then you don't have all these different issues. So the root causes of gallbladder issues, we start with high stress hormones, high insulin, from insulin resistance, estrogen dominance. For women that have hormone imbalances, or even men that have estrogen issues, that can impact your gallbladder system. Aldehyde toxicities. Aldehyde is a chemical that comes off of bacteria and fungal overgrowths in your body, whether it has to do with your gut health or just your immune system. These aldehyde toxicities can cause issues with your gallbladder. Now, mold is also into this group of aldehyde toxicities because from a chemistry standpoint, mold is an aldehyde. So that's important to remember. Ammonia toxicity. Ammonia is a cleaning product. That's not what we're talking about so much. We're talking about ammonia that comes off of things like parasites, bacteria, and fungus in your body. And the ammonia results in a number of things. We have different videos on that I encourage you to check out. But an ammonia toxicity could easily cause different issues with your gallbladder. The signs of ammonia toxicity, usually those people are going to be more stressed. They have a harder time falling asleep because they have low GABA. A lot of times when they sweat, they're going to stink. They're going to stink pretty bad. And one of the things that's important to remember, when we sweat, we really shouldn't stink. But it's when we have things like ammonia toxicities and things like that we are going to stink when we sweat. So it's important to look into that and consider that as one of these root issues. Nutrient deficiencies. Okay, so this is kind of a very general root cause of gallbladder issues. But nutrient deficiencies, things like vitamin A, choline, glycine, even things like zinc, which helps make betaine or helps make hydrochloric acid. All of these different nutrients, along with EPA, which is basically your well, we'll get into that in a second with the healthy fats, but EPA is basically what you find in your fish oils. Different things like those nutrients can result in poor bile flow when you're deficient in them. Where do the nutrient deficiencies come from? That's a huge topic. A lot of times those nutrient deficiencies are ran down either because you're not getting them in your nutrition, or you have something else going on like infections, inflammations, other toxicities that's causing you to be low in those nutrients. So that's nutrient deficiencies. Healthy fats actually support gallbladder function, okay? So we're primarily talking about things like natural arachidonic acid, like found in grass-fed butter, which is extremely healthy for your immune system, your cardiovascular system. Yes, butter is really good for your cardiovascular system if it's the right kind of butter, and things like that. Healthy fats, EPA, which is found in things like fish oil, grass-fed beef. All of those things are great for inflammation, your immune system, even your cardiovascular system, and your gallbladder here as well. Chemicals and medications. I actually got confused, so I'm actually going to take this back a second. Sometimes healthy fats, I actually thought I was on the next page. I apologize for that. Healthy fats can actually cause stress to your gallbladder. And the point that I wanted to make with that right now is the fats that I mentioned previously, those can support your gallbladder, but you can also have healthy fats that cause stress to your gallbladder if you have the nutrient deficiencies. So you have the nutrient deficiency section where we have the vitamins and different things, even healthy fats that help with gallbladder function. But if your gallbladder and bile flow is really, really struggling, even healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, grass-fed butter, fatty meats, even those things can cause issues or a little bit of strain on your gallbladder system. Chemicals, medications, this one's pretty, I think, easy to understand, that they can cause issues with your gallbladder health and bile flow. Heavy metals can do it, even bad fats. This is where we're talking more about trans fats. Trans fats are going to be in things like your fast food, anything that has hydrogenated oils in it or hydrogenated fats. Okay, that's going to be considered a bad fat as well. These are fats that the body does not digest well. They're fats that just cause inflammation. They're not even natural fats. The word trans fats from a chemistry perspective means that it's been heated up to where the bond has actually rotated, and now you have something that is not found in nature, but it's found only with that chemical process. So trans fats are going to cause issues with the gallbladder. So guys, the big, again, 10,000 foot overview, these are the different things that will cause stress to your gallbladder. Now, the way that we address it is twofold. Number one, we have to discover the main causes driving dysfunction. If you have high hormones, high stress hormones, we've got to figure out what you need to do to support against that. If you have high insulin levels and insulin resistance, then we've got to address the blood sugar stuff. Aldehyde toxicity, ammonia toxicity, we've got to detox it and then figure out what infections are actually underlying those issues that we need to address to allow the body to heal itself. Nutrient deficiencies. If you have some nutrient deficiencies as really one of the main causes driving dysfunction, you've got to figure out what those are, and then you got to just obviously start getting those through food or supplementation. Healthy fats, that one's usually not the main cause, but with enough stress to the gallbladder system and bile flow, that can definitely make an impact with things. In which case, the only way that you really need to support with this is you just need to increase nutrients that will help support bile flow, which we'll get into that here in a second. Chemicals, medications, heavy metals, bad fruits, or bad fats, not bad fruits. You got to figure out what's driving these areas, what are these drivers of dysfunction, and you've got to address those. The second piece that is also essential here is general gallbladder / bile flow. It should say support. I apologize, not supper. It should say support. I hope you get a kick out of that. With that general support, there's a couple things here. Vitamin A, fairly common here, vitamin C. Now remember, vitamin C, you want to get a whole form supplement of the vitamin C. A whole form supplement. With vitamin C, most supplements, you have the core vitamin C, you have the shell. Most supplements are going to take that shell off and they're going to go turn that into a supplement called ascorbic acid. That is not going to work well here. You're going to want a whole form vitamin C, something like camu, which we use in a supplement, but those are technically camu berries. Acerola cherries are also great. Oranges can be good, not as good usually as vitamin C found in camu, but oranges can be helpful as well. TMG is a nutrient that's found in beets. That can be extremely helpful. Choline, you can get it in supplement form, of course. You can also get it found in the yolk of eggs. So that can be very helpful. Bile salts. This is usually what we're going to do in a supplement, and then healthy fats. Okay, that's like EPA, which is found in grass-fed beef, fish oils, and then also found in things like grass-fed butter. So in all of these situations, though, it's going to be, again, extremely important that we address the main drivers of dysfunction, and it's going to be important that we also support generally to address and support the bile flow issues. Now, what does this look like in practice? What does this look like with patients? Well, it starts with a good history. We have to talk through different things and figure out what factors are at play. Lab work usually in these scenarios is not needed unless we want to look at, in my situation, unless we want to look at something like blood sugar and insulin and things like that. The rest of these things I am able to address through the technique that I do in practice. It's called systems healthcare. I talk about it in many of my videos. It's a technique that allows me to get to the bottom of things and figure out what's causing stress to the gallbladder and bile flow. And then number two, what do you need to address that issue? And then number three, what other general gallbladder and bile flow support is needed to help get these issues regular again? And so there's a lot behind all that, but essentially that's kind of the step-by-step process and what that looks like. So it starts with a good history. We've got to understand what's going on, what's the body doing, what factors are at play. Number two, we can run lab work for some of these things. You can run lab work for actually a lot of these different causes over here on the side, but usually that will run, that would be very, very expensive to check all of those things through lab work. And oftentimes, it's usually not going to be as effective at actually figuring out what's needed to address these things. There's other videos I've made on some of the lab testing, the pros and cons and that kind of thing, but like I mentioned, the systems healthcare technique is my go-to because I know that, number one, it's accurate as long as you're doing it properly. Number two, it's going to be effective at figuring out what's going on and what nutrients are needed to balance these issues. Guys, I hope this has been helpful for you. Let's connect. You can schedule a free consult online, schedule your first visit. We'd love to connect with you. Find us online at the different social medias. Guys, I hope this has been helpful for you. Check out our other videos. We have other videos on other things ranging from insulin resistance to estrogen dominance to chronic infections to the immune system issues, chronic migraines, high blood pressure. We have all kinds of different stuff. Check it out. I hope it's helpful for you. If you've appreciated this or you have any thoughts or comments to add, feel free to leave a comment. I would love to read it and respond. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video.